Hi and welcome to Down the Shed. I'm Jason. So let's build this Velleman MK101 Flashing Sweethearts kit. So schoolboy error, I left the radio on in background, so I've had to voice over most of this video. So here are the components. We have 9 resistors, 2 electronic capacitors, 2 transistors and a 9-volt battery pack and 28 LEDs, 3mm solid red. And that's it. So let's crack on. So as you can see, we have an inner and outer LED love heart. So it's a heart-shaped board which just about sits in the PCB holder. So we'll start with populating the 9 resistors. We have R1 to R7, 1K2, brown, red, red. R8 is a 33K, orange, orange, orange. And R9 is 100K, brown, black, yellow. So we'll just populate those onto the board. I'm using the 1mm solder that came with my soldering station. Not quite as happy with it as I am with the reels that I get off Amazon, but it works and it was free flowing. Heat the pad, heat the pin. So there are 2 double pads on this board. One is a transistor and one is an LED that pair up with the legs on the resistors. So I've only partially soldered those 2 pads so I don't spill the solder over. We're now going to populate the 2 transistors, BC547s, T1, T2. I think it's one of the transistors which is linked up to the double pad with a resistor. I hold my components down with blue tack. If you find that any blue tack sticks to the board once you remove it, because it gets a bit soft and sticky when it's been heated, just use a cold piece of blue tack, dab your PCB and it'll remove any traces of leftover blue tack. Right, so when soldering, heat the pin and the pad for a couple of seconds after you've tinned your iron, obviously. Feed the solder in, let it flow, remove your soldering iron. So that's the legs snipped. Now we'll fit the second transistor. Remember when you're fitting your transistors to check which way you're putting them in. You can get these wrong. I think it's the emitter, so in the middle, so the base, or is it the base and the collector? You want the flat side of the transistor and the round side of the transistor to match the picture on your board. So your board will have a flat side and a round side. So make sure you get those matched up and you can't go wrong. The resistors are non-polarity dependent, so you can put those in anyway, but I do like to get all the colours in the same direction. On this board I've got all the gold multiplier bars facing upwards. There we have the 2 capacitors. They are 22 UF, I believe. Yeah. Again, with these you have a grey stripe down one side, a short leg and a long leg. The grey stripe is the negative, the long leg is the positive. Normally you will either have a long box or a round circle. If it's a circle, the cap stands upright. If it's a long box like on this kit, you want to lay them down. I like to pre-bend them, but you can just slot them in and bend them over. Again, blue tack them down, solder them in. You can use masking tape. I find blue tack's better. And we'll snip those legs off. So we pretty much just have the LEDs left now to populate. I always like to pre-test LEDs on a CR2032 battery just to make sure they're working. You might have recovered them from an old kit, or you might just find that you get the odd one that doesn't work from the factory. So I always like to pre-test before fitting them into the kits. It's good practice to get into that sort of thing. One day you'll come across one that doesn't work and you'll be glad that you pre-checked. So that's a few of the LEDs in. Just get the rest popped in. There we go, there's a few more. You'll notice that I've fitted 5mm solid red LEDs to the top and the bottom of the love heart. I had 4 of these left over from another project. The rest I've decided to stick with the Velleman 3mm solid reds, as opposed to using my ultra bright 5mm that I got on Amazon. I used a packet of flipping red ones on the rolling message kit, so they're a bit rarer in my kit at the moment. Good old blue tacky. So I hope you're enjoying my videos. I'm building as many of these Velleman kits as I can, as well as the cheapy Chinese kits. I've got a radio that I need to do some rectification on. I haven't got the video for the build of that though, so I might buy another one just to do the build as a cheap Chinese kit. So we'll just get these soldered in. This PCB holder is quite a good bit of kit actually. So what did you do during COVID? I made electronic kits. I went to work for most of it at Aldi, but threw my toys out the pram because some customers are pricks. There we have it, the finished article. You notice the top and bottom ones I went with the 5mm, and all the rest I've done the actual 3mm that was, well, not the one supplied, but one supplied out of other kits. I've kept the one supplied bagged. 9-volt battery, simply screws on 2 screws, red and black, soldered on the other side of the board there. So nothing too difficult, pretty simple, and just a little love heart flashing kit. So I hope you enjoyed this video. This is the MK101 flashing LED sweethearts. I'm Jason. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, tell your mates. See you in the next one, down the shed.